Alright, so we went through the drills already on another video, but I just want to make sure you understand that everything now starts to get contradictual or hypocritical. Because there are ways to learn shit opposite of what I've told you. Okay? Which is why it sounds hypocritical or contradictory to the shit that you've already learned. You see me with the weapon in hand do the turning round and put my foot down with the sword. So that was kind of wrong. But you can do it with this hands tied because there is no weapon. You are the weapon. And if you're going to engage, so I'm clarifying everything from the last two videos now, in case anybody gives a shit. I'm clarifying. So if you do that and you have to engage, because it was a low kick outside to inside, but it was a fucked up ass kick, there was no power behind it, because I had a weapon in my hand. And 9 times out of 10, if you have a weapon in your hand, you're probably not going to be kicking anybody. Alright, I mean, let's just keep it real. You're probably not going to be kicking anybody because you're going to be swinging for the fucking fences. But I did this, and I landed here. Alright? Now, having a weapon, I can engage. But not having a weapon, I recommended if you're not a good fighter that you didn't engage. But I put you in a position where you have to engage. Alright? So your next move, depending on what your style is, if you're going to do a Wing Chun kick or a Kung Fu kick, it's right there. It's already there. If you're going to do a karate kick, you're going to have to shift your weight and you're going to have to try to get into a spot where you can use your power leg. Now, let me clear this up before we go too far. Your power leg does not mean your strongest standing leg. Your power leg, if you're shifting from karate to kung fu, is the leg that's going to bring the most momentum and the most pain. That's why I said you're going to shift. If you're going to do kung fu, or gung fu, or Wing Chun, then this right leg, because it was already there, no wasted motion, boom. And that's coming from this turning round kick. Boom. Boom. There's your kung fu. Now, we're going to change from kung fu to karate with this turning round kick. Alright, so turning round, boom. Foot's down, shift my weight, boom. Now, you see how the weight shift is going to make a difference. This here, after we land, this front gung fu low kick, or Wing Chun low kick, it's not going to have that much power. Versus the karate kick, which when I shifted my weight, when I turned this way, I put all the power onto this leg. So when I thrust that sumbitch out, the person that I'm engaging with is going to know that they've been hit. Versus I'm engaging with gung fu, where they're going to know they've been hit, but it's not going to be as effective because it was kind of like I'm right there. It was like the only option I had. But if I wanted to switch out and change styles, then I would switch to karate, and I've engaged with them with a more stronger kick. Now that stronger kick could be the difference maker between me going home with these bitches off, or me going to the ground with these bitches on. Alright? Now, I'm going to do a couple of more things while I'm still wrapped up, but I'm about to wrap myself up in the back. Now, again, no weapons in the back. Alright? So, did you understand something? Alright, when your weapon is behind you, or your hands are behind you, there's a lot of shit that can go wrong. I'm not trying to go down on this floor again, so that's for sure. But there's a lot of shit that can go wrong. Which is again why I said, and I'll say it again, and you can call me a hypocrite, you can call me controversial, you can call me whatever the fuck you want. But if you haven't tried this shit, don't try this shit. But if you are going to try this shit, I'm not being held responsible. But I will tell you that if you don't have any martial arts training whatsoever, engaging an opponent that does know martial arts is a big fat no-no. Straight up and down. It is not a good idea. Period. You may not like what I'm saying. You might be like, oh, fuck that, James. I'm going to try that shit. Okay. I warned you. Because there are rules of engagement in fight. Especially when your fucking hands are tied behind your back. You have to understand what works for you. You have to understand how your body works. Body mechanics is everything in a fight. Everything. Guy coming at you and you sidestep and you trip him. You know, it was a good move. Was it an outstanding move? Hell nah. But if he's running so fast that he can't stop and you sidestep and put your foot out and he trips and goes down, you don't have to engage the enemy. You can just run for your fucking life because your hands are tied. Now, if you're fast enough to sidestep and boom, okay, good for you. Now, will that work in real life? I'm not going to say it does. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I'm going to tell you that I would never try it in real life. But for movie purposes, I have done this in movies. I would love to make a movie where I can do a full-on fight scene with my hands tied behind me. I don't have the resources for that. But if I ever get them, it's going to be on the top of my list. But the thing is, when you're working a fight scene, you're working a fight scene. The key word to that was scene. Alright? No one's getting hurt. Everybody's professional. Everybody's taking care of everybody, and especially the star. Understand? So if I'm the co-star, not the star, there's a good chance that what happens to me in this scene would be the motivator for the real star to kick everybody's ass. Alright? So, let's say I'm good, but the star is supposed to be the best. So I'm supposed to not look so good. So instead of throwing a great kick, I gotta throw some mediocre bullshit, I gotta sidestep. I gotta make it look fucked up. Where the stunt guy has to make me look good, but not great. So he's gonna, and he's gonna flip over my leg. And that's how that fight's gonna end. Then somebody's gonna hit me in the head from the back. I'm gonna be done. Now, because they see that I have some fight in me, now they chain me to a wall. That way they know that I can't escape. And now they're gonna torture my shit. And this is how movie scenes work. Alright? Now, in real life, yeah, you can do this shit. You've seen my body do this shit. Do I recommend you doing this shit? Fuck to the fuck no. Because you're gonna get hurt. Simple as that. This is where you call me a hypocrite. Yeah, you can. Should you? No. And just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to take a chance. If your life is literally in danger, I can't save you, but you can save yourself. And if this shit works for you, knock yourself out. But don't go suing me if it doesn't. Because I've said this at the beginning of every video. Please do not attempt this shit. I've had the training. And even having the training, I'm going to honestly tell you, don't attempt to do this shit. If you're practicing, or if you're going to make a fight scene, yeah, knock yourself out. Alright, you're going to make this fight scene, my hands are tied, you're going to run at me from this side, and you're going to run at me from that side. And in the fight scene, this is what happens. I'm going to kick you with my left leg and send you over towards this guy. This guy's going to run into you, you guys are going to fall on the ground, I'm going to make my escape. It sounds extremely easy. Until the camera starts to roll. Somebody picks up too much speed. Somebody doesn't know where their fucking mark is, so they don't stop, and they get hit in the face. And yes, you can probably see that dog tearing shit up in there. Anyway, so, let's say the guy misses his mark. BAM! Now, he's down. Production stopped. This guy stops on his mark and starts wondering if that guy is okay because I literally kicked him in the fucking face. Fantastic. That being said, I'll wave at you guys in a minute. That being said, if you miss your mark, it's kind of your fault, but everybody's going to stop to make sure you're okay. Now, if you can't shake it off or you're a bad sport, you get up and decide you want to beat the guy's ass who's tied up, but you missed your mark, you kind of can't do that because you missed your fucking mark. You have to understand how marks work in the fucking business. If you're supposed to stop at this spot, right here, so that my kick looks like it got you, because of the camera angle from the backside, it looks like I nailed you. I'm not really nailing you. I'm just grazing by. Now, if it does nail you and it looks good, they'll probably keep the footage. But, yeah, because I've been hit and we've kept the footage. Especially when a certain brother of mine named Jay Diz rocked my head on a goddamn rape phone. Anyway, so it was nice. And then we added the line, reach out and touch somebody. It's a long story. If you're not from the 70s or 80s, you won't get it. But anyway, so if you miss your mark, boom! Now that guy's missed his mark. Now we got a problem. He's not stopping because the script was changed. I'm supposed to kick this guy. That guy's supposed to jump over him. And I'm supposed to return with another kick. Not going to happen. This guy missed his mark. I nailed him. I stopped because I'm concerned about my coworker. The other guy, I wasn't paying attention at the beginning and doesn't know that the shit was changed. So now we're screwed. And we have to go through this shit all over again if that guy can get the fuck up. So you have to be really careful. So yeah, movie work. It will do that shit. It will look cool as fuck in the movie. but you got to work that scene like probably 40 fucking times, and that's before you even get to shooting. And I'm not talking about the dialogue. I'm talking about like the choreographing. All right, Johnny's gonna run in from the left. Becky's gonna come in from the right. Yes, I said Becky. So Johnny gets kicked in the face. Becky leaps over Johnny, and I have options now. If I do the kick properly, it should put me in a position of where I can still use the same leg to engage Becky, because Becky's gonna jump over Johnny. Now let's say the script's changed again. I kick Johnny, I get kicked by Becky. So that would look more on the lines of Johnny's coming, bam! I nailed Johnny. Boom! I'm kicked in the back by Becky. See how that would work? Now in real life, as I said this before, if you are not a good fighter and your hands are behind your back, you want to disengage with the enemy as quickly as possible and make your fucking escape. Now granted, I'm going to show you the same goddamn kick from the other leg, and I'm going to tell you the same shit that I've told you in every other fucking video, because it is the best damn thing for you in real life. You think it's going to be easy for you to fight anybody like this? I mean, really? I don't give a shit what belt you got. I don't give a shit. You can have a black belt, you have a brown belt. If you go down and you can't get back up, you're at the mercy of whoever the hell knocked you down. Which goes back to, I'm going to do this kick down, and I'm going to disengage from the enemy. I don't have a choice. They're running right at me. And in this case, we're only going to do one person. We're not going to do Becky. We're just going to do Johnny. And Johnny's coming at me from Becky's position. So now, Johnny's to where I know I can nail his ass. So, boom! I've nailed Johnny. Johnny's over that way. My ass is over this way. And I'm out. Because I can't fight with my hands tied up. Now let's say I run that way and run jam smack dead into Becky. Now we have another problem. Understand? Let's keep it even less dramatic. Let's say Johnny's running at me and I sidestep and knee him in the gut. I'm not going to have a lot of momentum. All that shit's going to be on Johnny. So if Johnny's coming and I get ready and I sidestep and I bring in the knee, you know, he's going to bend over the knee. What's my next move? Do I engage or do I not engage? I kind of ain't got a choice but to engage because I got nowhere to go. And he's still hung up over my knee. So once I take my knee down, he's going to hit the ground. When he hits the ground, my best bet is to put that same fucking knee in his back and try to break his fucking spine. Because if I don't, my hands are still tied. I don't have a way out of this. I have to stop him. Again, if you're not a good fighter and you just need this guy in the stomach, you need to have a plan to get the fuck out of Dodge. I didn't have one, which is why I said I'm going to get down on his back with my knee and try to break his fucking spine. Because my hands, amazingly enough, are still tied. Alright, your don'ts. This is bad. I might go down. If this video stops, it's because I probably knocked myself unconscious. This is a don't. Do not do this, please, under no circumstance whatsoever. And I'm probably not going to pull this bitch the way I want to. Do not do this reverse tornado kick. Yeah, I didn't pull it the way I want. My arms are in a fucked up ass angle. It's lowering my center of gravity. It's screwing up everything. So the chance of me pulling the reverse tornado kick or a butterfly kick with my hands tied, it's not impossible. You just see me attempt it. You see me do it. You just didn't see me do it the way I would do it with my hands in front. Which is also a don't. Which I'm about to show you. Now you're going to see the difference of pulling one that I just did versus what I'm about to do. Again, I don't want to go down. So be careful when you're doing this shit. And if all practice, don't if you have not had the training. Okay. Now that one behind the hands sucked. That one was a tiny bit better. I don't know why I can never wave at people when I try. It's fucking shit. I know I probably missed a wave or two. Anyway, I apologize. The difference maker is really simple. This has more control. This is extremely limited. And when you try to do kicks like that, it throws off your balance. There's a very good chance that your arms are going to be broken. Those are don'ts. This is a do. Inside to outside crescent kick. Left leg. Now it sucked. There was no power behind it. But you're banking on that person running at you to have the momentum. Now, here's where shit gets fucked up. This is the part where I become a hypocrite. This is the part where it becomes controversial. This is the part where the truth comes in. That kick was not powerful at all. You could tell just by looking at it. What if he catches my foot? Or what if he's running so fast that even though I throw the kick, it doesn't stop him and we both go down? Where I'm on my back, did you not realize my hands are still tied? You see how that shit works? Which is another reason why I try to tell you to do the outside to inside crescent kick, because it's easier for you to tip your waist and your weight and get the fuck out of dodge. That would be this kick, still left leg, outside to inside. It's going to put him over this way. It's going to shift me into a position where I can leave the situation. Understand? So he's coming. I'm standing at the ready. Boom! Now, I'm off balance. But I can recover and go. Now, had I landed perfectly and was on balance, it would have looked a lot more smoother. So we're going to try that with the right leg now. Outside to inside crescent kick, and let's pray that I don't go down. And let's also pray that I can make the transition smoother. You've seen me do this 1,000 times. So, that 1,001 time would be the one that fucks me up. So, boom! Now, I've landed better. So we shift our weight and we're out. And the reason for that is because your hands are tied behind your back. Now, for all you people who are contortionists, who can do the shit that I can't do, where you bring your shit all the way back up and around, God has blessed you. God has not blessed me with that shit. So I'm fucking done. I'm going to make sure I stick with what I know because I can't do this. And my hips don't work, so I can no longer squeeze my ass cheeks through my arm and do this. Even if I squat down, it's only going to get worse from here. And it would have been a damn shame for me to get stuck on Instagram trying to get out of these fucking ropes that way. But yeah, if you can do this shit where you're like, I'm actually untying my rope, but if you can do this shit and get out, then you're a bad motherfucker. I can't do that. I don't like saying the word I can't, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, yeah, I'm going to wiggle my way on down there. No. My old ass ain't doing that shit. It's just that simple. It's not going to happen. It might happen for you young people. You might be able to, without loosening your ropes, like I'm about to do again, get my hands down here and get my feet all out. See, this is pretty good. But that's because I loosened my ropes. Now, with my ropes tight, that ain't happening. I ain't flexible enough. If you're flexible enough to get your hands all the way out or get your foot through the back, hey, it's been done before. It just hasn't been done by me. So, if you can do that, hey, you got one over me. You got something in your repertoire that I don't have in mine. And good for you. But, I can't do it. So I'm not going to attempt to do it. I'm just going to attempt to go with what I know. Which means I'm going to kick you in the face. And I'm going to get the hell out of the place. It's really not that damn difficult of a hashtag to remember. Here's another don't. Because your hands are back behind your back. Can't pull it. Now, technically, this should still be a don't. Because your hands are still tied. They're just in front of you now. So it changes your balance. Now, as you can see, I pull a lot better this way than I did with my hands behind my back. And now I know you guys are thinking, why do you keep switching? Because I did say do's and don'ts. Alright. Now, a don't minus a do. It depends on how hard your skull is. The headbutt. For me, it's a fucking don't. For some people that I know, it's a fucking do. So you can sidestep knee and headbutt. Because your hands are behind your back. It's a do-don't. If that's all you've got, it's all you've got. But the problem with the headbutt is, if you don't use the front, middle of your forehead, you might knock yourself out with the guy that you're knocking out. If you're a Drew McIntyre fan, they call it the Glasgow's kiss. Where you slam your head into a guy. Headbutts aren't fun. I've had a concussion from a headbutt from somebody who clotheslined me into his son. His head hit my head. His son was probably crying for about 5 seconds. I was hurt so bad I couldn't even cry. And I was barely conscious. And I know when I got home, I took a fuck ton of Advil. That would be one of my nephews from my brother B-Dog. Anyway, shout out to Trey. Trey probably don't even remember that shit. But I remember that shit. I ain't never gonna forget that shit. Because we was wrestling on the waterbed, and Trey just happened to be at the right place at the wrong time, and BJ clotheslined shit out me. Clotheslines hurt people. Wrestling moves are real. You must be careful. When I got clotheslined, my head hit his son's head. I saw stars. I don't know what Trey saw, but I saw stars. Hurt like shit. And I think Trey might have been 5 years old. I don't know. But it didn't knock any sense into me. If anything, it made me a little bit more stupider because I had concussions before that. But the thing is, you have to understand how your body works. Fighting with your hands tied behind you, I'm not going to say you can't do it. You've seen me do these moves. I am going to say you shouldn't do it. This part is where it's not hypocritical. Because here's that thing. Have you ever been in a fight with your hands tied before in your life? I mean, literally, have you been in a fight with your hands tied before you or behind you in your life? Most people have not. Have you been trained to fight this way with your hands tied behind you or in front of you? Most people have not. I have, which is why I am the guy you want to come to for your insurance policy on this shit. Because a lot of things that you see on TV, they are real, but they are also not really recommended. Alright? As I just showed you a few do's and don'ts. And the reason why I showed them to you is because I don't want to read in the newspaper, oh, some guy saw J.W. Grey Wolf or Kung Fu Havoc #2 or James Williams Jr. 616 do this shit on the internet, and now my kid's bleeding and sitting in a hospital because they didn't hear me say, please don't do this. They clearly didn't watch the video all the way through, because I remind you not to do this shit quite a few times, and every time that I do something exceptionally unacceptable or incredibly crazy. This is good training. It's great training. You're not going to do any animal styles with it. Alright? You're not going to do tiger. You're not going to do dragon. Hold on. Let's try that again. You're not going to do tiger. You're not going to do dragon. You're not going to do mantis. You're not going to do crane. You're not going to do snake. You're not going to do any of that shit with that. Because your hands are tied behind your back. You understand? Please tell me you understand. Now, you can probably do some Thai fighting. If you specifically just doing knees. Boom. Boom. You can probably do some Kempo if you're specifically doing knees. Your hands are tied behind your back. You have a lot less options than you think. Now, if you're one of those gymnast people, you know, that can do butterfly kicks and shit, and you want to do something stupid, you know, tie your hands behind your back and try a butterfly kick, let me see that video. I'm not doing that shit. You just see me almost get fucked up doing a tornado kick with my hands behind my back. And a reverse tornado kick. Did I do a tornado kick? Or just a reverse? Well, let's go in a sequence. This is also a big no. I mean, you can probably do it, but you probably shouldn't. Well, we're going to do a sequence attack. Alright? So first, front kick. Now step back. Boom. Boom. My balance is off. Your balance will be off in moving while your hands are tied behind you. Versus your balance being off and moving while your hands are tied in front of you. Let's see another sequence. So I'm going to stepping side kick, and then I'm going to do a double side kick. So I stepped in, kick, put my foot down, go high. I understand. Let me show that again from this side so you actually can see. Step in, kick, return, kick, kick. Now, my balance is off. So anytime that your balance is off, in most fights, if your balance is off, there's a good chance that the power dynamic of your kicks are not going to be as effective as you believe they are going to be. Which is something people don't tell you because they've never been trained with their fucking hands tied behind their back. If you think I'm bullshitting, let me make a non-suggestion suggestion. There's a reason why I said it was a non-suggestion suggestion. See, if you want to try this shit, I can't stop you. I can recommend you don't, but I'm not your daddy. So, if you choose to do it, it's really on you, and you need to be responsible for your own shit. Now, if you watch this video back, and you're going to see the difference between how smooth that is versus the shit that I did at first, which we're going to recreate now because my hands are in. step in, side, step back. Now, when you go back and watch this on IGTV, and when you go back and watch it on Kung Fu Havoc #2, you're going to see the difference in my body mechanics. You're going to see the difference with my body completely. Because you're going to see this shit right here. You know, it looks better now because I've had a little practice. But, you know, when you see me side kick, step back, a little high, it's not going to look like it's looking right now. It's going to look a whole lot more unseasoned. Versus when I get this damn thing off my hand and you see me go side kick, my foot back. Whoop. Now, when you see me do that, you're going to see that there is a difference in that. When you watch this back, and you will, when you watch this back, you're going to see that balance difference. And you're going to understand what I said. There are some things that you can, can't, should not do. Most of this is probably a should not. Again, in case you guys missed it, I've been training with my hands tied since I was 12 years old. I can test that if you want, but I can't go back in time and pull 12-year-old James through a hole in time and space and hook him up, you know. But I can tell you this, it's probably the best kind of training I've had because it gives me the opportunity to understand that there is nothing that I can't do with the perfect mindset. The problem is, no one prepares you for the pain when you fall down. No one prepares you for a paper cut when you cut your finger on a piece of paper. No one prepares you for the aftermath of anything. Alright? I just did do's and don'ts for a reason. Because if I don't do do's and don'ts and someone gets up on this son of a bitch and decide, I'm going to do the shit James did, and they get hurt, some magical tooth fairy in the world is going to say, well, we seen that shit on this dude's Kung Fu Havoc channel. And then they're going to try to come after me. And I'm going to tell them, go fuck yourself. Because the first thing I said was, I've had training since I was 12 years old. If you haven't had any training in the martial arts, or if you've had martial art training, but you haven't had my kind of training, don't fucking do it. And also, in every video, I make it a point to not engage the enemy when possible. You know, that outside crescent kick, you know, because it puts you in a position to escape. This one here, boom, it puts you in a position to escape. I can go this way, I can go this way, I can go this way. The inside crescent kick, boom, it puts me in a position where I still have to engage because he's right here. So, boom, I have to engage. And the reason why that is because I have short legs. Alright, I'm 5'3½". Whoever the hell I'm kicking over in this direction, I need to be able to engage their ass. Now, in the event that it's two people, and I am not a good fighter, and my hands are tied. That's the John and Becky thing, where if I kick John, I want Becky to run into John. That's my plan. Plans don't always work out like that. Now, in the movies, it's supposed to work that way, because it's written in the script. And John and Becky are supposed to collide, and the hero wins. He's supposed to ride off into the sunset, grab the pretty chick on the way out the door, and live happily ever the fuck after. Maybe have 9 or 10 kids with her, and then she gets a divorce because she's cheating on him. But anyway, in real life, shit don't work like that. I might kick Becky or John towards Becky. Becky might be an acrobatic specialist. She might pull a Kim Zemeskel and gap leg over top of John, bust a flip and kick me in the chest. You know, and also in movies they do shit like that. Don't y'all watch the Power Rangers? But anyway, that being said, I'm going to end this video and I'm going to end this live with a final thought of this. If you're serious about learning martial arts, go learn them. But make sure the one thing holds true. Make sure that you learn it from someone who is going to invest their fucking time in making sure that you get the shit done right. Make sure that you invest in someone who's going to make sure they tell you the do's and don'ts. Because a lot of people who go into martial arts do. Don't. Yeah, you got to make sure that you're paying for this shit. So you got to make sure that the person you're paying has actually done some martial arts. Now, if they've done tournament fighting, it's still martial arts, it's still training, it's still usable. And then you have to remember the last thing. And this is the part where I piss off every martial artist on the planet. Because I'm going to tell the fucking truth and they're not. 70-30. Alright? 30% of what you're learning in the dojo works. 70% of what you're learning in the dojo only works in the dojo. You're not going to go outside and bust a butterfly kick and think that shit's going to be like in the movies where you're just going to nail somebody. Now, you could get lucky, or you could be skillful, and you could be fighting someone who's never had martial arts a day in their life. And that's where you're going to run into a problem. Because if you're fighting somebody who's never had martial arts, they might be the one that gets lucky. They might get out of the way just in time, and you might fuck yourself up. Or they might get that lucky hit off while you're showing off. There's been a lot of videos about people sleeping on capoeira. Alright? And they had a guy doing capoeira and he started doing all these acrobatic shits, and then the guy ran up to him and then he Superman punched the shit out of him. Or the original name of that is the Captain America punch, but, you know, it can happen. And you don't want to be on the receiving end of that after doing an acrobatic flash show. Alright? 70% of the shit that you learn in that dojo only works in that dojo. The 30% of the shit that you learn in the dojo works in the street and the dojo. That's why it's 70-30. And the reason why I said that, and if none of you believe me, I'ma hate myself for this. Get in a fucking street fight and see how much of that shit's gonna fucking work. I promise you. 30%. Basic shit saves your ass in a street fight. Jumping spin kicks and all that shit, the finishers, no. That's just for tournament martial arts. It's for tournament martial arts. And you can do that shit. But when you get out here in the real world, you get out here in the streets, and you're going against somebody who's got a little bit more size on them, got a little bit more weight on them, might have a little bit more skill set than you, you need to be ready for that ass whooping. And that ass whooping could come in the form of a straight fucking right punch to the face. Might be all they need. You know, it might be a straight kick to the chest or the sternum. Something's going to stop you dead in your tracks. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a basic front hit from either a punch or a kick. It's not going to be something fancy. It's not going to be something that is impressive to anybody. But it's going to fucking work. You know? It might be a sidestep, block, and knee. And honestly, if you're throwing this punch and I do this and I break your arm and I hit you in the throat, the fight's pretty much mine. But you might not go out. So, break, punch in the throat, I'm going to pull you into this knee because I'm on the outside, so it's still Kung Fu. Now, if I want to turn it to karate, after I pull you to this knee, I can shift my weight and drive this knee into your gut. So, you understand what I'm telling you. One, in all fights, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to know what your style is. And you have to be able to understand that if you can't switch your style on a dime or the drop of a hat, you may get your ass beat. No person that's watching this right now is probably going to tell their students, hey man, yeah, 30% of my shit's working, 75% is probably not going to work. But see, I'm going to tell you the truth because the simple fact is, anybody can beat anybody if they're prepared to beat that person. Alright? Now if it's in a sporting arena event, not the UFC, but more like low-level tournaments. They're not like, I'm not shitting on them by any means necessary. Sports karate, sports taekwondo, Olympic shit. You're there for points. You're not there to impress anybody with spectacular moves and knockouts, but that's generally where you see that shit. When you see it done in like rec or the UFC, that's because somebody just decided, fuck it, I'm going to go all out. That's pretty much the gist of it. And 9 times out of 10, some of those guys don't win, even if they nail that person with that hit. Go back and watch some of those old videos from 97 and up. You know, go back and watch some of that shit, and you're going to see what fucking works and what doesn't. And everything works differently for everybody. You have to understand that. When I tell you I'm going to do Kung Fu, it's because I know what Kung Fu works and what doesn't. So what I'm teaching you, if I'm going to block and step to the outside, one of my hands is going to be at your wrist, one's going to be at your elbow. In the base of your elbow, I just turned Kung Fu and Kenpo into the same goddamn thing, and I'm going to break your elbow. I'm going to slide down your arm, which means I'm going to either be on top or I'm going to be on the bottom. If I go on the bottom, I can switch to Mantis, 2-finger poke, and then hit Kenpo in one of these vital spots down here. where pressure points actually are fucking effective. I can't make you shit on yourself. I can't knock you out, but I can damn sure make you feel some fucking pain. Now, if I don't go here and switch to Mantis, I can go here and do a ridge hand and try to break a rib. Or I can do a punch and try to hit you in the liver. Now, if I do it the other way, I've broken your arm, I've slid up here, and I'm hitting you in the throat. Now, why am I going to hit you in the throat? Because if you can't breathe, you can't hurt me. And that's going to end the fight a fuck ton faster than me trying to break your elbow and boom, boom, boom. Now, granted, that's going to be a lot more fun. Until your adrenaline kicks in, or you get pissed off, and decide, I'm not going to keep letting this shit happen. But most people, when you break an arm, they're going to feel that shit above all else right then and there. It's going to be an instant feel, and I'm going to hit you in the throat. Because it's easier for me to stop you from breathing than for me to try to keep trying to outbeat you when I'm 5'3.5". I have no upper body strength. And you're wondering, how did I break your arm? It's all momentum. I stepped out, I got this hand, and I pushed and pulled at the same time. That was the momentum. Snap. It snapped at the elbow. I'm sliding down. My fist is formed on impact. I'm hitting you in the fucking throat. So I'm either going to hit you right in here, or I'm going to hit you straight in there. But I'm hitting you in the throat. It's really quite simple. I'm hitting you in the throat because I got a better chance of stopping you than I do trying to hit you in the liver or the lungs. I don't know what style you're using. Let's say you're a Thai fighter. And for those who have never taken real Muay Thai, here's a fun fact. Most of them used to sit like this for 6 to 8 hours a day getting beat with rods and shit so that they don't feel pain. American version, not so tough. Okay? Keep that shit in mind. And again, you don't know who the fuck you're fighting until that first punch is thrown. You don't. You might be fighting a guy who's like Muhammad Ali, and that motherfucker switched gears on you and he's Bruce Lee. So you gotta think about shit like that when you're in a fight. You need to have your game plan. But you can't go with your game plan. You just need it. And let me explain that so I can end this video. Having your game plan and going with your game plan changes the second the fight starts. Alright? You may tell yourself this is what's going to happen when that fight starts. And everybody does it, myself included. But I'm going to be honest with you. When that fucking fight starts, everything that you're thinking up in here, blank slate. Shit's gone. Everything is instinctively reacting now. So how you train, boom, boom, that's a break. Boom, boom, that's a break. I'm going to be doing that because I have the muscle memory with second nature that I'm going to have to do that. I've also had to downplay a lot of my left leg game because a lot of my kicks before my hip replacement, my left leg kicks were wicked. My right leg kicks not so much, and I'm naturally right-handed and right-legged. But I was taught as a child to train with your non-dominant side, and your dominant side will compensate. It's how you become perfect, all right, or as close to perfect as possible. Now, the thing about that is your adaptation ability needs to be honed in. Boom. You need to have that shit. Boom. Broke. Now, if I'm breaking and I'm pulling, this knee's closer. This knee would probably be more powerful, but I'd have to work harder to do that. So fuck that shit. I've broken your elbow. I'm on the outside. Your body's over here. You have to cross over to hit me. I done broke your damn arm, so I'm not stopping. I broke your arm, I'm hitting you in the throat, and if I choose to pull and then just start kneeing the shit out of you, it's not going to be much you can do because I've broken the fucking arm that was closest to me. And when you're hinged over, I'm going to elbow you in the back. It's an illegal move in like UFC and shit. But on the streets, there are no legal moves or illegal moves. So I'm going to elbow you in the back. And I'm not going to stop elbowing you in the back until you cease to function. Yes, that's brutal. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, James doesn't give a damn because it's going to be you or me. And it ain't going to be me. I can't play with you young guys. I can't play with you guys that's 6'2" and bigger than me. I got to end your shit quickly. I'm 47. When I break your elbow, I'm going straight for your throat. Now, the liver or mantis strikes would have probably been just as effective. But the problem is, I don't know how tough you are. I only know how tough I am. I only know how old I am. I only know what works for me. And I need to be able to stop you from stopping me from stopping you. Because if I can't, I'm going to sleep. I might be sleeping in the morgue. So, if you're going to fight, you fight to survive. Period. Henceforth, breaking elbow, strike to the throat. It's not something that people practice. It's something that I practice. Because I'm 5'3.5". I'm 127 pounds. And I'm not going to be playing with you. Therefore, now a lot of people aren't going to teach you the outs and ins on that. The outs is, I'm fixing to fight to survive so I can win. The ends on, you're fixing to do the same damn thing. And the only way it's going to come to an end is when the battle stops. And if we survive that shit without killing each other, that's going to be the difference maker. But I can guarantee you two things are going to happen. Just like everyone else, no one's coming back after me after I fuck them up. Understand? Thanks for watching Instagram and YouTube. I greatly appreciate you for giving me the time to be into